When you picture an American road trip, what comes to mind? Maybe a convertible, wind in your hair, that whole fantasy, right? Well, today, we're diving into a totally different kind of road trip, a real one. We're going to break down a 36-hour cross-country Greyhound bus itinerary, a real ground-level journey from Texas to California that's actually happening this weekend.
So, what does this whole thing really boil down to? It's all about one number, 36. That's the total travel time. 36 hours on a bus to get all the way from Austin, Texas to the heart of Los Angeles, California.
And hey, this isn't just some hypothetical route we looked up. We're actually breaking down a real-world transit log for a student's educational trip. So this is a moment-by-moment look at every single stop, every transfer, and every mile of that incredible 36-hour journey.
Okay, so the whole thing kicks off bright and early on a Saturday morning deep in the heart of Texas. This first part of the trip is kind of like a marathon within a marathon. It's all about getting across the Lone Star State, and it's defined by one really crucial transfer that sets up the whole rest of the trip.
So, the first bus pulls out of Austin's East Side Bus Plaza just a little before 8 a.m. From there, it's pretty much a straight shot north. There's just one super brief 10-minute stop in Waco before it rolls into the Dallas bus station right before noon.
Now here's where we see the first really interesting detail. In Dallas, there's a 2-hour and 10-minute layover. That's not just a quick hop from one bus to another. That is a significant pause. It's a chance to reset before the real long-haul part of this journey even begins. And that long layover, it's not just about killing time. It's a whole logistical handoff. See, the first leg from Austin is run by Greyhound de Mexico, but the second, much longer leg to LA is operated by Greyhound Lines Incorporated. It's a little detail, but it really points to the huge, complex network it takes to move people across the continent like this.
All right, now we're getting into the longest and probably the most challenging part of the trip, the journey through the night. This is the big overnight haul, leaving the city lights of Dallas far behind and just pushing across the vast, dark expanse of West Texas and into the desert.
It doesn't take long for the rhythm of the journey to set in. Barely an hour out of Dallas, you get the first stop in Fort Worth for a quick 10-minute break. This is just the first of more than a dozen stops that are going to pop up on the map before they finally get to Los Angeles.
A couple of hours after that, as the afternoon starts to wear on, the breaks get a little longer. In Abilene, there's a 30-minute stop, looks like at a 7-Eleven. This gives passengers their first real chance to properly stretch their legs and maybe grab a decent snack.
And this right here, this shows you the reality of the trip after the sun goes down. It's just a series of stops at gas stations and fast food places in the dead of night. The most important one is in El Paso, a whole 65-minute break just after midnight. That's the main anchor in the middle of all that darkness. You gotta figure that's for a driver change before the bus pushes on toward the Arizona border.
Okay, so as the sun starts to rise on day 2, this scenery just completely changes. The bus is out of Texas, it's cut through a tiny corner of New Mexico, and now it's making its way across Arizona, starting that final approach towards the California coast.
And then, just after Tucson, the itinerary shows us the longest stop of the entire journey, a massive 95-minute break. Wow. This is the final major rest stop. A real chance to eat and regroup before that bus finally crosses into California for the home stretch.
And this is it, the final push. This timeline shows the last handful of stops, starting the second they enter California at Blythe. From there, it's a steady march through Indio and San Bernardino, finally navigating all that LA sprawl to get to its final destination.
So, after a day and a half on the road, crossing 4 states, and covering over 1,400 miles, the journey is finally over. The bus pulls into Los Angeles Union Station, one of America's most iconic transit hubs, at 5:55 p.m. on Sunday.
So what does this whole journey really represent? Well, it's a very specific kind of travel experience, one that's defined by endurance, a whole lot of patience, and, let's be honest, a tight budget. It's a view of the country from the ground level, a perspective you just can't get from 30,000 feet in the air.
You know, to make those 36 hours even remotely bearable, the itinerary confirms some pretty essential amenities on board. There's free Wi-Fi and power outlets, which are absolutely crucial. And then all those frequent stops we've seen at places like McDonald's, 7-Eleven, and all those gas stations, they provide the only real chances to get off the bus and stretch.
Ultimately, a detailed log like this is more than just a schedule. It's kind of like a classroom on wheels. It really forces us to ask what we gain and what we give up when we choose to travel slowly and actually witness the true scale of the country. In an age of instant everything, what does it really mean to experience the distance between two places?